The following video is brought to you by Squarespace. Whether you need a domain, website, or even an online store, make it with Squarespace. The iPhone 6s and 6s Plus are the best iPhones to still have a headphone jack and are already over 3 years old. Hey, how's it going? I'm Josh from 91 Tech, and today we're going to be taking a look at the iPhone 6s and iPhone 6s Plus. How do they hold up in 2019, and could they even still be worth buying? Firstly, I had the iPhone 6s for about 6 months or so back in 2017 before upgrading to the iPhone 10. It was a really great phone and I really enjoyed having it. I think for a lot of people the 6s is kind of the last iPhone they would consider buying just because it does have that headphone jack, and I don't know, for a lot of people iPhones just haven't felt the same since the 6s, just less consumer friendly maybe, and I kind of get that. And while there are a lot of benefits to the iPhone 7 and newer, the 6s is still a great phone, and today we're going to talk about how great it actually is. It is definitely a lot better than its predecessor, the iPhone 6, and has held up surprisingly well considering it's approaching 4 years old. While the 6s might look exactly like the iPhone 6, in reality it couldn't be more different. It is also a lot more durable and won't bend, which is, kind of nice in a smartphone. Everyone's hyped about the new Samsung foldable phone, but let's not forget about the iPhone 6. Anyway, the 6s doesn't do that, which is good. It uses a stronger aluminum, and if you'd like to see a full comparison of the 6s and 6, I'll have a link in the description below, as well as a couple other links to other comparisons I've done concerning the iPhone 6s. With the 6s, we have two different size options, the smaller 4.7-inch model and the larger 5.5-inch Plus model. Which you go for should depend on the size and which size you prefer. There aren't really a whole lot of benefits to either model, and while the Plus does have a better battery and optical image stabilization, that's about it, and the Plus models in the 7 and 8 have a lot more benefits over the smaller ones, so I think all in all, the smaller 6s is actually probably the better value. That being said, if you want the bigger phone, go for the bigger phone. Maybe look at the iPhone 7 Plus and 8 Plus. They are definitely more expensive, but if you really want a Plus model, both of those phones are quite an upgrade, so that might be worth considering. But let's move on. Under the display, we have second generation Touch ID on the home button, which is extremely speedy and is at least as fast as Face ID, if not faster. The battery is mediocre at best, at least on the smaller 6s, with a size of 1715 mAh. This should be enough to get you through the day with moderate use, assuming the phone hasn't been heavily used in its lifetime. If it has, you'll probably need to keep a charger nearby or just get the battery upgraded altogether. The bigger 6s Plus is a lot better with a size of 2750 mAh. You won't have to worry about this phone at all for battery life, I would say. Just like basically every Plus iPhone, the 6s Plus is pretty good in the battery department. The camera is surprisingly solid with the iPhone 6s, with the rear sensor having 12 megapixels and the ability to shoot 4K video. While you're not going to get iPhone XS quality photos, they still look pretty good and certainly a lot better than the iPhone 6. I'll be showing some examples in a moment. The front-facing camera isn't as great with only 5 megapixels and up to 1080p video recording. Photos from it don't look awful, as you can see here, but they aren't very good either, and if you're really a fan of selfies, you should probably get the iPhone 7 or newer, as they bring a lot of improvements. Regardless, I think most are going to be pretty satisfied with both photo and video on the iPhone 6s. It can take some really nice shots. It also has live photos. I'll quickly add this. Live photos takes like a 2-second video with every photo. You can see it by 3D touching on the phone. These are pretty cool and are especially cool if you're taking a photo of a moving object or maybe a child who's running around or something like that. Anyways, I'll now show some quick examples for you to see for yourself. This is being filmed on the iPhone 6s in 4K at 30 frames per second, and it looks pretty good. I think I referenced this already, but just to explain, the iPhone 6s has a feature that was new at the time called 3D Touch. 3D Touch is essentially the amount of pressure you put on the screen, so a normal tap won't do anything, but if you push down hard enough, you can get extra features in certain situations, like on the home screen when you push down on settings or something like that. It's a cool feature, and something I really think is one of the best things about iPhones, and it's too bad it isn't in the iPhone XR. One of the coolest things you can do is hard press on the keyboard, and that'll allow you to move the cursor around. A lot of people don't know about this, so if you didn't, well, there you go, it's super helpful. You can also do this on phones without 3D Touch by holding on the spacebar, but still, it's nice to have. Speed-wise, the iPhone 6s holds up really well in 2019, and definitely doesn't feel like only a 2015 phone. It has Apple's A9 chipset and 2 GB of RAM, giving more than decent performance despite its age. iOS 12 will run like a charm assuming you have a good battery, and anything from social media to gaming should run great on the 6s. The phone isn't going to give you killer performance like the iPhone 10 or 10s, but considering the price difference, I'd say that isn't an issue. And let's talk about that price. Apple doesn't sell the 6s or 6s Plus new anymore, but you can find them through most carriers at the moment, opt-in at super low prices on contract. I don't know if I'd recommend buying one on contract per se, as locking yourself to a phone this old for 2 years might not be the best idea, although it should be supported by Apple, at least until 2021 or 2022, so you probably will be okay. That said, buying used would probably be your best bet, as right now they're super cheap on Craigslist or eBay. Looking at ebay.com, we see that the 6s will typically go for around $150. That's extremely good value. If you can find one for even cheaper, you're getting a steal. The big thing here is that the battery life probably isn't going to be very good on it, so you want to watch out for that. Apple will replace the battery for a not terrible price of $50. Used to be cheaper, but they've raised it since January. That might be worth doing if you find a really good deal. Under $50 for an iPhone 6s is really hard to argue with, and it's probably going to do a lot better than most Android phones at the same price tag, simply because it's fully supported on iOS 12 and will continue to be fully supported on iOS 13 and 14 for assumedly at least a couple more years. So if you're wanting an answer, yes, the iPhone 6s is still worth buying in 2019. If you have a 6s right now and are wondering if you need to upgrade, you might want to look at the iPhone 8 or 10R, but I'd say at the moment you could probably go at least another year where the 6s starts to feel its age. The 6s is one of my favorite iPhones of all time. It's super durable, super light, has the headphone jack, brought 3D Touch, is very fast. It's one of the most successful iPhones of all time for good reason. You know, it's in the name, 6s. I've done a video all about that. It's just a great phone, and if you have one right now, you probably know that. Huge shout out to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one platform with award-winning customer service that allows you to create gorgeous professional websites easier than ever, with an unending number of templates and features, all in a simple but powerful online editor. You never have to update or install anything, just go to squarespace.com/91tech and you can immediately start building your site. Squarespace is really useful, and as someone who's in school right now learning web development, trust me when I say it is a lot easier just to use Squarespace. Make sure you head over to squarespace.com/91tech for a free trial and 10% off your first purchase. And with that, I think I'm pretty much done here. I gotta say, it is really nice to see that Apple's best phone with a headphone jack still holds up all these years later, and hopefully it will for at least a couple years more. If you enjoyed this video or found it helpful, maybe consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more content just like this. You can follow me over on Twitter and Instagram at 91_tech if you want some more techie goodness in your life. And of course, don't forget to check out Squarespace using the link below for 10% off. And with that all being said, I'm Josh from 91tech, and I will see you all next time.